For trying to understand the sample size, I usually have two questions that'll really help gain insight into how many samples you need. So one is, what do you expect the change to be, the effect to be? So if you're comparing between two different products, maybe you assume that one product is bigger than the other. So that would be, you might say, I think product B or experience B, if you're trialing different web pages, for example, you might say, I think it's going to be 10% better, or maybe you think it's going to be a huge impact. You think it'll be like 50% better. So that's a really good first question. And it's kind of a hard question to answer if you're a product manager or you're a marketer, but getting that first kind of gut check of what you think the change will be. And then the second one is really, how certain do you want to be? And that's ranges depending on your sort of area of business. If you're in pharmaceuticals, obviously you want to be very certain of a potential drug effect. But if you're a marketer, particularly if maybe it's like a startup, or maybe it's a brand new kind of division within a company, you might have like more of a risk tolerance. You might be more saying, I don't need to be 100% confident that, product B is better than product A. I just need a really decent kind of ballpark estimate. So that will help translate to kind of the statistical analysis, where you can say, all right, well, let's say, well, we want to be reasonably right. We want to be somewhat sure that this is going to be the right kind of effect that we're seeing. And then judging on if you expect it to be a really large impact in terms of the change between the two, then you can expect a pretty like small sample size that you'll need. So generally, as a really broad rule of thumb, I would say you need at least like 200, so 100 if you do a 50-50 split, to see any kind of meaningful difference. But it kind of ranges depending on how certain you want to be and how big of an effect you expect. If it's a large effect, then you can stick to the lower end of like 200 up to 500. If you expect a small difference, maybe like 1% or like 2% difference, then you definitely need a larger sample size to be able to detect essentially the nuance between those two experiments that you're running.